Yo, what's up? Dallas Cowboys State of the Union back at it again with another video. And first off, we want to say, please hit that like button and punch that subscribe button as well for more content from your boys. We back again, day before the draft. Today is Wednesday. The draft officially starts tomorrow. Of course, we don't have a pick in the first round, so we don't really get picked. We don't really get to see any action until Friday. However, there's still reasons to pay attention to the draft even tomorrow, because depending on what players fall can kind of give us an idea of who might come to us. But first off, we just want to talk a little bit about what we think is like the top 5 needs for the Cowboys in this draft. I'm going to go off, I'm going to say like this. What I want from this draft, I want a safety. I want a backup running back. I want potentially another corner. I would love to get another D tackle one. And probably get another tight end, because this draft is heavy with tight ends this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna say safety, tight end, running back, another wide receiver, because Randall Cobb will probably be gone next year. Right. A defensive tackle and a cornerback, because you have Awuzie, well, not Awuzie, but Anthony Brown, whose contract is up, gonna be up after next season. Byron, they could possibly move on from Byron Jones, so they need to add some depth pieces behind, both of them. Right. So that's my order: safety, tight end, running back to back up Z, wide receiver, D tackle, and corner. Yeah. Cool.
And I think that again, like we've been saying this whole offseason. First of all, this offseason went by extremely quick. It just looked like it was yesterday that we was at the divisional round of the playoffs. So to see that we're already at the draft is amazing. But the Cowboys did really well in free agency. Again, they didn't have the flashy picks, but they sold up a lot of holes. Even though they sold up a lot of holes, it's still room for improvement. And that's where the draft goes in. And Will McClay, it's time for him to do his thing, do his magic. And Will McClay we trust, and Will McClay we back. This guy is amazing, and because of him, for these last 6-7 years, we've had amazing drafts. So I know this one is not going to be any different. But yeah, I do believe that safety is the first priority. I feel like it's a lot of great safeties with a lot of high round talent, and depending on how the first round plays out, depending on if teams trade up, if teams trade down. First of all, I know a lot of people are wondering, should the Cowboys trade up and stuff like that? No, they should stay pat. This has worked for them in the past, getting the best player available versus trading up for a guy and overpaying for a guy. And, trading capital and all of that. Also, I would tell people, be on the lookout for Duke Johnson to be traded. I feel like during the draft, he already wants out of Cleveland. I believe Cleveland is potentially going to draft another running back to back up Chubb and Hunt. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys trade maybe a 5th round pick or a 7th round pick for Duke Johnson.
Not only Duke Johnson, but be on the lookout for Solomon Thomas to get traded from the 49ers. People who know who Solomon Thomas is, he was the 3rd overall pick in the 2017 draft. And I wanted him coming out of Stanford, but we wasn't in the top 5 to select him. But wow, if the 49ers select Nick Bosa, like I think they are, that would make Solomon Thomas expendable, and that would be attractive to a team like the Cowboys, who can get a guy who's a former top 5 pick, has high upside, and you get him, and you still got him on his rookie deal. Right. That's going to be attractive to any team. So not only Duke Johnson, but be on the lookout for Solomon Thomas to get traded.
Yeah, those are going to be, if we get either of those guys, both of them will be a much-needed addition to the team. But if not, I believe they're definitely going to address running back in the draft. And like you said, address edge rushers in the draft as well, and that will work very well for us, because we don't know when Randy Gregory is coming back, and of course we got Quinn, but you can never have enough.
You can never have too many edge rushers.
And I will say this too: one of the running backs that I'm looking at. Well, first of all, second round, we said that we think they're gonna go safety. I'm hoping that either Taylor Rapp's there. If Taylor Rapp is there at 58, of course you take him. If not, my next pick is Jonathan Abram. I think that he fits the Cowboys philosophy for the kind of players, the Jason Garrett philosophy for the kind of players that he wants on this team. And I just looking at his tape, he's a great tackler. And that's what we're lacking. You know, a lot of people, the criticism with Heath last season and for the longest.
Yeah, 19 missed tackles.
Yeah.
Jeff, he did last
exactly.
season. So you can't have that.
You can't have that again. So I think that will be a Jonathan Abram. If he's there, that would be a great addition. He's not a ball hawk, but he is very great against the run. You can bring him down in the box, and he's a great tackler. And so we leave Xavier Woods out there on free safety. I think that's going to work out right. Now, Taylor Rapp, he's both.
Yeah, I'm getting back to Jonathan Abram. Yeah, he's decent in coverage, but where he's really going to make his heyday is in the run support. Yeah. I don't think Jonathan Abram will be there at number 58. I do, however, seeing Rapp being there, possibly. That's if Seattle doesn't take him a first, because they acquire a second first-round pick for Kansas City in the Frank Clark trade. Seattle just lost Earl Thomas, so he would be a nice replacement. Right. The next guy on my list is Juan Thornhill, the safety out of Virginia. This is the guy who is interchangeable. One thing I noticed about the Cowboys is when they scout safeties, they want their safeties to be interchangeable. They want their safeties to play both the strong safety spot and the free safety spot. Juan Thornhill can do both. Not only that, he can play cornerback, and he has a nose for the ball in there. He has 6 INTs in his last season at Virginia. Now
that's amazing.
And for a team that has been lacking in the turnover department, yeah, he will help out tremendously because he's able to read, react, and locate the ball and go get it. Now where he is, he's an average tackler. He just kind of throws his body around, doesn't really wrap up. But I think that could be fixed. I look at it this way: is that we need a playmaker safety that can take the ball away. Don't get me wrong, Jonathan Abram is nice, and if we get him, I wouldn't be mad. But the one thing that we was sorely lacking this past season was turnovers. I think we was tied for 26 in the NFL in turnover differential.
And that's one of the things where, you know, people say, "Oh, well, we need another D tackle. We need to get after the quarterback and stuff like that." If you get a guy on your defense that can take away the ball, automatically you're giving your offense extra possessions, more chances to go and score points. Now everybody knows that the offense was the big issue this past season. And a lot of people didn't think we was going to do as great as we did. But when you look at it, had the defense got a few more turnovers, some of them games would have worked out the same way. So I like Juan Thornhill as well. I think that he'll be a great addition too.
Also, don't forget Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's another guy that I'm really high on. And he's kind of slipping under the radar. Deontay Thompson, the safety out of Alabama. He's a guy that's a violent hitter, and he's great in pass covers. And if you don't see them pick a safety in the second round, third round is where you can get Darnell Savage. There's a lot of this safety draft class is deep.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that third round they get a playmaking tight end. I think Sternberger is the guy that Texas A&M that they get, and who I really like because he can run the routes. He can get yards after the catch. Now he's average in blocking, but again, he's not a liability in blocking. But where you're really getting him is for a pass catching tight end. Yeah. He can do that, and he's one of the 30 pre-draft visits for the Cowboys. So the third round, I can see them targeting a tight end or maybe a defensive tackle, even though I don't think we really need to go D-tackle until after the fourth round. And if you're going to do that, I would very much rather them trade for Solomon Thomas, because Solomon Thomas is going to be better than any other defensive tackle you get at that point in the draft.
And that's true. That's true. I mean, when you look at last season with the Amari Cooper trade, because a lot of people's like, we traded away a pick or whatever. But again, kind of going back to what you're saying about Solomon Thomas, Amari Cooper was going to be better than any receiver that we could have got in the draft this year.
And look what number that the Raiders have with our pick, number 27. Exactly. You're not going to get a wide receiver of Amari Cooper's caliber. That's just not happening.
And the impact that he made on his team, he turned his team season around. single-handedly. So when you look at that, that was a pick well spent. So I trust this front office with Stephen Jones, him taking pretty much over the helm now, and Jerry Jones kind of stepping back and letting Will McClay and Stephen Jones handle the day-in-day business or whatever. This team has turned around. A lot of people criticize Jerry Jones for his general manager skills, but Jerry has made some very smart choices this last decade.
Well, I think
if you look at from the time 2010 Dez Bryant and Sean Lee was drafted, if you look from 2010 on down, the Cowboys actually have made very smart decisions.
Well, I think now because Jerry is finally listening to his football people, I wouldn't even say 2010 is when the tide started to change. I'm gonna say 2014, where he wanted Johnny Manziel, and Stephen Jones says,
pull the car out of his
saying, look, we need to finish off this offensive line.
Yeah.
They get Zach Martin. Yeah. The rest is history. He's been an All-Pro ever since then.
Yeah, and he's coming back. So we're gonna see what happens.
Mm-hmm.